Welcome to the Lost at Home podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott Bear and Jeremiah Johnson.
Welcome to the Lost at Home podcast. My name is Scott.
My name is Jeremiah.
And we are back for episode 266.
Yeah, my primies out there are like, yeah, duh, that prime factorization is 2 times 7 times 19. Fuck bum. Not like fuck my butt bum, but like fuck bum. Like
oh, no,
bum,
I understand,
like a homeless
the context.
Person. Like a dirty person. How you doing, Scott?
Good. Do you want to roll real quickly through
your
information?
Sure. Because we like to, before we even tell you what this show is about, this is what it's not about. I've got my primies out there who like the prime factorization. I've also got my phonies who like to know what the area codes and country codes of these numbers are. 266 is the country code of Lesotho. Which is actually, I did look up the pronunciation, luckily, because otherwise I would have said Lesotho.
I would have said that too.
Now, I'm not sure if people out there know what an enclave country is, but it's essentially, the one I always knew was Vatican City. It's essentially a country just in the middle of another country. Okay. It's like in other words, its border is one other country. So they're just like a dot in the middle of another country. So it's an enclave country in southern Africa. It's actually completely enclosed within South Africa. So it's almost like it could be a city there, but it's actually its own country. Now, I looked it up. There are actually only 3 true enclave countries in the world. The aforementioned Lesotho, and also Vatican City, the aforementioned, which is completely enclosed within Rome, Italy, and another Italian one, San Marino, enclosed specifically and completely by Italy.
Idea.
I thought it was interesting that there's 3 of them. I didn't know there was more than one. I thought Vatican City, but it's interesting, like Venn diagrams, where the Venn diagram is a circle and then a dot, another circle inside that circle. Yeah. It's kind of how I feel about it. Now, I also mentioned last week that issue 266 of Uncanny X-Men was the first full appearance, of Gambit. So there we go.
And I promised that I would bring to the table a random fact about each number, and this week I actually did. The number 266 has this bit of significance. It is the number of number 1 albums in the UK in the 2000s so far.
2010s, it says, right?
2010s, which is what we're in.
Yep.
So it's as of today's date.
Which we're almost out of the 2010s.
We are, but still. And it's by 76 bands, the first of which being Florence and the Machine.
And it's too bad that we worry about copyright infringement stuff, because we used to not care as much before we got as many listeners, and we would play some good songs that I'm sure the bands wouldn't care if we played. Otherwise, I would go out on a Florence and the Machine song, but instead I will tell people right now, at the end of this episode, put a Florence and the Machine song on, because they're very good, and you should maybe listen to them.
Now, I have one other bit of news I want to bring to the table before we jump into the show, which is actually, let's describe the show real quick.
Yeah, before we jump to the show, which is, I will let you do it this time.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've done it once, literally, last time, and I did a fine job, too.
You did a really good job.
It's almost like I've been on the show for 266 episodes, and I fucking know what it means now.
I always thought you just tuned me out during that part.
Yeah, I do. I actually use it just as a chance for me to usually have a drink, but, I rolled into it last time.
Yeah.
So I went with the flow, and the whole time I was, suddenly, you probably saw me, I just, broke into a flop sweat, and I started shaking. And you were just glaring at me and judging me, be like, don't you actually air whispered, don't you fuck this up. Don't you fuck this up, you loser.
Well, what we do is we take weird, obscure news stories from the internet, ones that you won't find on most mainstream podcasts and news channels. We talk about them for a little bit, and then we try to put a funny spin on them by turning them into brand new content, whether it be a movie, a TV show, a comic, who cares?
Exactly.
We like to take this show as a bit of copywriting, too, so we like to think we own the idea, and if someone loves it and wants to go make it, throw us a couple bucks.
Go ahead, but if you make money on it,
or at least throw our names on the credits.
Yeah, like a consulting credit. There are some where we've, halfway through the episode, we've realized one is so good that we have to actually say, don't anybody fucking touch this one, because we might be able to get to this one. I believe last week we had a short film idea that we're like, no, we're going to make that one. And we described
the Trunk movie.
Yes. We described it so much. Yes.
Trunk the movie.
Literally
we just named it.
And we just named it. So go back and listen to 265 for those of you who want to know what we're talking about with Trunk the movie, because we're going to get closer and closer to that project. But in the meantime, you said you've got some other news to bring to the show before we get into the show.
And this is very interesting news because it involves 2 prior guests. Ralph Garman from Family Guy, American Dad, every Seth MacFarlane film.
He's sleeping with Ted Raimi. Please tell me that would be the cutest couple.
And Hollywood Babylon with Kevin Smith. I'm not going to say that. I want to keep my role going.
Okay.
He was a prior guest and was a great guy. And we actually got to meet him and Kevin Smith after a Hollywood Babylon in Burlington, Vermont. That was great.
I was a little bit trippy and a little bit my inner geek in me. I mean, granted, I've only recently in the last 5 years or so become familiar with Ralph Garman's work, but being able to hang out with Kevin Smith, I do have to say, was a bit bonery.
Yeah. A bit bonery also describes how I felt when I was listening to his podcast, The Ralph Report, and he had Ben Glebe on. Ben Glebe is a prior guest of ours. He is a comedian and game show host and podcaster and a political aficionado. Very political in his podcast.
Yes. And he's hilarious.
He was probably one of our better interviews, I gotta say, because he brought some weird stories about meeting celebrities.
And I, if I recall, he even has a slight connection to one of our other guests. If I recall, this was him. He said was he the one that was at a party and thought Sally Field was hitting on him?
Yes.
I think that was the one, which, by the way, kudos, because I will tell Sally Field hit him at 80 even. She's not that old. I'm saying, Sally Field is amazing, but we had Eli Craig on, who was Sally Field's kid, who was also the director of Tucker Dale versus Evil and Little Evil, is that the name?
Yes, Little Evil.
No, probably I was someone to say Little Nicky, which is the Adam
Little
Sandler
Evil.
one, but Little Evil is
good.
So
we have some neat connections going here.
But Ben Glebe, Ralph Garman, they're working on something.
So, Ben Glebe specifically, he has announced his candidacy for president.
By the way, that you said you wanted a legit reaction out of me because I did. You would not tell me what this was. You
Remember,
said
he might listen back to this.
You told me going into this. You're like, I have some news about some past guests, and they have a quote unquote project that they're working on. You gave me nothing. And I had to wait all of 5 minutes before the show started.
About 5 minutes.
Yeah. But so I'm glad you didn't tell me earlier because that would have eaten on me. So that's legit. First time I've heard about it is the first time. Well, no, the listeners are going to listen to this much later. But
so as of June 11th, he has to raise 65 individual donations that can be as low as $1, and that this show will air well after June 11th.
Yeah, because he has to either hit donations or poll percentages to get into a debate as well, right? So if you have the right number of individual unique donations, you will actually, in other words, that way you can't just have your dad give you, a shitload of money and hit the donation limit. They're like, no, individual donations, in other words, support. Yeah. Or I think it's 1% poll approval or something like that.
Yeah, and that is to be, that is not to just become candidate for president, because technically he is by stating it.
Immediately, yes.
But he cannot get into the debates.
The debates, they're trying to keep it capped at 20 people, and there's some people who might not be there. But they're also, the whole point of them doing this is they're splitting it into two parts, and they want to make sure, at last I heard anyway, and they want to make sure that they have as many people up for the debate as possible, because they felt that there was so much contempt around the way things were done last time.
It was done terribly,
and to where they were essentially, by the time the debates happened, they were favoring essentially, which they were. I mean, fucking documents show that the Democratic Party was clearly favoring almost to a point of
criminality
of Hillary, and we saw how that one turned out. Yeah. Thanks, Democrats, for the Trump presidency and Russia.
Yeah. So he's running as the only candidate who is not a career politician or a millionaire. He considers Trump to be on par with him, as he is a reality TV star and quote unquote comedian because of all his stupid tweets. So he's like, I'm going to be the comedian candidate. I'm going to be the common man. I own one house. Even Bernie Sanders owns 4, he says. He goes.
Those people have a career in politics ahead of time enough to where, now, even Elizabeth Warren can be like, I'm gonna, put a book out and make. I mean, granted, boo-hoo. I'm not gonna say they're not the same as somebody going into it that just inherited $1 billion right off the bat. But some people, by the time you get big enough, then you can sell a book and make millions of dollars. They're not making their money off of politics.
Yep. And it seems like he got the word out late, so it doesn't look like by June 11th he's going to have the 65,000 donations needed, but that can continue to roll over, and 4 weeks later are the CNN debates, and there's still one slot free. So
let him
theoretically, if we could get listeners to each donate $1...
Yeah, I would actually say, because by the time people listen to this, it's past June 11th already.
It will be. Yeah. But if you go to glebe2020.com, and let me give you the spelling for it.
It's a
GLEIB.
GLEIB.
2020.com.
Cool.
And donate $1. We can push our former guest to the presidential candidacy to be allowed in the CNN debates, And I would like to say he was very nice last time I reached out to him. He's a really nice guy. We'd like to have him on the show between now and the next 4-week date.
So you could have 65,000. I know the Bernie had the most number of he way far ahead of any unique donations because he has a lot of low number donations.
He's trying to Bernie
65,000 people to donate $1.
Yeah,
you got to be able to do that.
And we got the Ralph Report already doing this, and I'm sure he's going on a slew of other podcasts. And because of our good relationship with him, I'm feeling we could probably get him on in the next 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. And you know what? It'd be kind of awesome if our combined listeners, us, the Ralph Report, other shows, could push him over the hump. And then we could say we have a actual presidential candidate who's been in the debates on CNN on our show.
Yeah, and it'd be good to just hear because if people are like, oh, this is just a joke and it's not worth doing it. I will mention some of the issues that he has on his website. Stopping crybaby Trump, that's a funny one, but working to close the income and wealth gap, healthcare for everybody, because obviously not letting the robots take over, which is fighting to protect American jobs from the onslaught of automation, which is
actually important,
which is really important because it shouldn't be trying to stop automation and progress, but you can protect, and by protecting American jobs, I would assume allowing things to move that way in the way they're going to, but also making sure that people, I would actually like to ask them about that, which way they go. Are you trying to stop automation, or are you trying to say, hey, automation is inevitable, let's figure out what we can do with these people whose jobs are at risk the most. Combine white collar prisons and blue collar prisons, awesome. Taking back democracy, that's kind of just a generic one, and treating all humans humanely. Sounds like a piece of low-hanging fruit there, but guess what? Not the Republican platform.
No one's doing it. No one's doing it.
I mean, it's part of some of the Democratic platform. Definitely not the Republican platform, where they're just like, we want to make sure women, and if you want an abortion, you're going to have your pussy removed before you're allowed to have it, and then one of your most disdained ex-boyfriends is the one to perform it with his whole arm up inside your vagina.
Now,
because I just assume that's part of their platform now.
That's everyone's platform.
That's the evangelicals is popping up there. So that would be actually very cool. So you can donate on that website, $1, $5, any number that you want.
And for anyone listening who's like, I don't want to throw away $1, it's number one, it's just $1, and number two, he does have one bit of credentials in a political scene, if you will, that actually gave me hope that we could actually get him on a debate floor, because I want to hear him debate real people.
He's really smart, which I like. He's sharp, and he's
very smart.
Yeah.
He did the first fundraiser ever back when Trump was running against Hillary. Prior to that, when it was a little earlier on, the first fundraiser that fundraised no money. He did it with Michelle Obama and 107 other comedians. And what he ended up doing was a fundraiser with all these comedians, Michelle Obama, other famous people, and essentially did nothing but get people on the line to get them voter registered.
Yep. Yes.
And he
registered. It probably is registered.
I think registered works, but if I'm wrong, I'm not running for president.
And here's the thing: and if you were, then it gave you a bump in the polls.
Yeah.
Because look at our
the red states love me.
Yeah. Oh man, he talks like me.
But yeah,
he's like, probably doesn't even mind if I molestate my daughter. It's
Because of the higher than normal youth turnout for voting during the Trump vote, he actually does claim a little bit of a bump for that, because that was a big deal. They registered a lot of people.
Well, yeah, and he is millennial-ish, right? For the most part. I mean,
I think he's on the cusp.
But by the way, I mean, on the cusp more like exennial, probably like us, but also as far as the people that he reaches generally is mid to late millennials and above. In other words, voting age people and above. And if everybody wants to hear what Ben Glebe is all about, go to episode 119, the one with Ben Glebe from Lost at Home podcast. That was June 11th, 2016. 3 years to the day of when he was hoping to get on that other platform.
You can also catch his canceled game show Idiot Test on Netflix, to which he had said, yeah, it's on Netflix, that's cool, but they don't give me any money for airing it.
No, he got money for making it. He was like, yeah, okay, cool. Oh, now more people, maybe more people will see it and know his name, and maybe he'll get it, because he is a good game show host. He was a great interview, so congrats and best of luck to Ben Glebe. So I would hope that maybe, regardless, it would be good to, even after all of this is over, despite the turn, how it ends up, is to just have him on the show to talk about his experience in doing this and have a follow-up. I know he sounded like he enjoyed being on the show, so I'd like to chat with him again anyway, just because honestly, it's been the last one was before Donald Trump was president. I would like to hear what he has to say, regardless.
Now, also, go ahead and donate that $1 because he's not going to get on this one. I just got a feeling it's not going to hit the point.
Well, yeah, it's a little
there's
late.
The next
it's a little
one,
late, yes,
but then there's the next one, and
it's a little late by now. It's 3. We will find out in 2 days from recording this
if he made it or not.
Yes. But the good thing is there's still a chance for another one and a follow up. But really, what people are doing here is not necessarily hoping to make it as president, but at this point,
he wants to influence the debate.
If you bring, because like look at how crazy Bernie was considered not that long ago, or even now like AOC, like even not even a year ago when people were talking about how crazy her Green New Deal shit was, and now all of a sudden it has actually driven like a lot of the climate change to the forefront of actual like
times have changed.
Now.
When I was like a teenager in the 90s, I was so pissed when I got those AOC fucking discs in the mail every day.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Empty promise, AOC, AOL. I wonder if I'll remember what that means, but it would be good to be like it is like, you got mail.
Is that your AOC impression?
It is, which is terrible because it's just my generic like
young girl voice.
Yeah, which is terrible because she's like a voice of a generation and influencing some of the most important conversations in politics.
She danced once.
Yeah. Well, and she put together an IKEA thing on her she does Instagram live shit.
Cool.
Huh?
I got no problem with her.
No. I mean, she's like I said, in other words, the conversations people were having on the left that were considered crazy and lefty, like Medicare for all, because they get talked about. Like in other words, he can bring a conversation to something. So
he doesn't have high hopes of winning a presidency. He has high hopes of influencing the language of the debate.
Now, here's what I would like to say about this show is, despite what you just heard, we're not a political podcast.
No,
but we do every once in a while.
That's just a big old shout out.
And that was a shout out to our old homeboy there. And sometimes people can't help in this day and age to occasionally toss their opinions of politics out there, just like we do. But we try to make sure this is an area where you can just go and hear good middle-of-the-road stories about ridiculous, stupid people and probably feel better about yourself when you're listening to all of our nice pieces in our segment, Web Dropping.
Dropping 2.0.
All right, so we're gonna roll right into web droppings with a story that shits all over Ohio.
Yes, even worse than Ohio itself shits all over itself. Okay, so this is actually pretty funny. This is a company called the
Simple Nature,
which is in Fort Wayne, Indiana, or based out of Fort Wayne. Simple Nature creates candles. Now they have created candle scents. SCENTS.
We knew what that meant.
I know, but like candle scents. I'd like to pay with candle scents, please.
Or I have a good candle sense. I know when one's in the room without even seeing it.
My candle sense is burning because you have your hand over a candle. Your candle sense is just getting too close to a hot thing.
I like that we were able to twist that a couple ways
already. So anyway, this so Simple Nature, Fort Wayne based company.
It's a weak ass Spider-Man, by the way.
Hey, can I be in the Avengers too? What's your thing? Well, when I get too close to a candle, it gets hot, and I call it my candle scent.
Candle man. My wick is short. Don't get me angry. You mean fuse. I have a wick, it's not a fuse.
Yeah, and when it burns, it just keeps burning, but it melts me into shorter stature.
Then I can slide under a door, but then I cool, and you need to scrape me up.
You have to scrape me up, and then eventually refashion me into myself again. So, and hopefully all the molecules are in the same place, because one time my mouth was on my butt.
But I sure know where the candles are kept.
That's right. And I can be part of your kinky breakfast. That's when you drip candle wax on people at breakfast time and eat grape nuts.
Kinky breakfast time?
Grape D's nuts. Yeah. I'm really trying to connect too many dots that are flying by in my head.
I would love it if Candle Man had no power except burning slowly, melting, needing to be reformed by a team of people, being able to sense where every candle is in the house, but also S&M morning activities.
Exactly. Only in the morning, because at night he's fighting crime.
Yeah.
So he's like, I got a chunk of time between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. I could burn some nipples if you want.
Honey, these eggs are dried. I wish we could spice up our marriage. Boom, through the window.
Ooh, like Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He just throws hot wax on your wife. She screams.
You burned my wife! Yes, I can sense you have 6 more candles in this house. I'll go fetch them. We already have our content for this
before the story's even done.
We haven't even told anybody what's happening here. But anyway, so Simple Nature has actually created some scented candles for some states. They say California, they have smells like blood orange. Chicago smells like caramel and popcorn. Denver smells like black currant, amber, and absinthe.
What do you think Vermont smells like? Give it a guess. I'm giving
maple, if they're
or
generic,
pine.
or pine. But I would say maple probably, just because pine, I feel like that's just people have those dangling in their like mirrors. They're like, we don't want to be cheap. But maple would be so generic, it could just be cow shit.
Manure.
Yep, it'd be great. But the thing is, though, they made one for Ohio, and the beauty of it, and they do say this right on the packaging, so it's not like it's like they're tricking people into thinking, but it is an unscented soy wax candle, and as they put it, I can't find the exact.
Not much to see.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
Not much to do. Welcome to Ohio, the unscented candle.
Yes. And the thing is, though, people from Ohio got a little upset about this, and they started tweeting a bunch of the like pleasant scents that Ohio could be known for. But these have to be not things that are just known to people from Ohio. I can see California blood orange. I wasn't aware of black currant and absinthe in Denver. I don't know if that's a joke, but
I've never been there, so I don't know.
But regardless, what I would say is the only other thing that that I would tie a scent to Ohio for is it is the rubber capital of the world. Or at least of the United States. Just the smell of burning tires with a black plume.
It is just recycled melted rubber with a wick in it. It doesn't even burn for long, but it just makes your house smell like someone burned tires.
You can use it also as like in the wild when you need to send a distress signal. It's great. You just you blow those big old dark smoke things. So anyway, Ohio people not very happy about the Ohio candle, but Candleman is totally fine with any kind of candle.
That is a $15.95 candle on the Simple Nature website if you want it to give a friend in Ohio as a joke.
I do have a buddy that is from Ohio who lives in Vermont. And
your lies are weird.
Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah? And then you try to one-up me. I have two friends who used to live in Ohio. And they don't even live in Vermont. No, but it was his birthday, like, I don't know, not even a week ago. I'm thinking I might make a purchase and send it to him anonymously.
Late gift. Say, sorry I'm late for your birthday.
Yeah.
Miss you.
Yeah.
Hugs.
Yeah. I don't miss him. Actually, I do. He's a very nice guy. Dan, if you're listening, which you don't, I love you.
You can send him a text and tell him to listen to this one.
Yeah, I'll tell him.
But then you're going to ruin the surprise.
I know a lot of Dans. I can send it to all my Dan friends.
All right. I brought the next story to the table, and this one's a doozy. This one, wow.
This goes back to our early days of like where we'd cover a lot of these like really wackadoodle stories.
Oh, this is the
and we
best
stopped
one
for a while
I found in a while.
because they come through a lot, and we were like, oh, there's not a lot to talk about or anything. But there's definitely now that we can twist it into new content. This one is like 4 stories in one. Maybe 6 stories in one.
I have picked a point where I'm going to start reading, and I am not going to read the title.
Okay.
This is a story about a man who got in trouble in New York State. That's all I'm going to say, because I feel like this story is better without any preconceived notions.
Yep. Go ahead.
Let's go.
No headlines.
At 9:45 that morning, troopers responded to a crash on Interstate 81 near the Pennsylvania border. They found a 2016 Audi.
Nice car.
That had been reported stolen in Sarasota, Florida.
That's a ways away.
This is already a mystery.
Yep.
Investigators determined that, and I have to go back to find his name, John S. Meany?
Mehne. M-E-H-N-E.
Let's say Meany for now.
Yeah, Meany. There we go.
John.
Yeah, because it actually fits. It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Meany.
Actually, it fits the story well.
Yeah.
Investigators determined that Meany was the one who crashed the car, but he wasn't around when they got to the scene. That's because he reportedly got out and tried to climb in the back of a slow-moving van. He fell.
Number 1. Okay.
Not deterred, Meany reportedly found another vehicle to hitch a ride on. He climbed to the back of a pickup and rode it until the driver pulled to the shoulder of the road. I'm assuming
way more sensible than to climb in the back of a truck that is supposed to be like store things versus on the back of a van.
And I would believe that the driver of the pickup truck didn't notice him climbing in, but because of this guy's future behavior, he was probably just doing stuff in the back of the pickup where the guy's like, "Oh shit, there's someone back there."
Yeah.
Trooper said he jumped out of the back and darted into a nearby wooded area. Investigators searched the woods but didn't find any trace of Meany. They caught a break around 4 p.m. This is
about
7 hours later?
Yeah, about, let's say 7 hours. 6.5 hours later,
okay.
Yeah.
When a homeowner reported seeing him in a chicken coop. The homeowner told investigators he asked Meany what he was doing, to which he responded, killing the chickens.
Not like, I just needed a place to sleep and I'm hungry, man. Like maybe try to get a little bit of sympathy out of the person. He's like, no, fuck you. Okay, continue. I don't need this to. I don't want to interrupt.
We can talk at the end. How about
that? I know that because I already have a few things I need to talk about.
Meany then reportedly picked up an axe chased the homeowner before stealing his ATV. Authorities later found the ATV abandoned.
Yep.
Multiple law enforcement agencies formed search parties that included canine units. Still, they had to rely on another tip to find Meanie. Another caller reported seeing Meanie naked in their chicken coop.
He's loving the chickens.
Authorities found him and took him into custody, largely due to one of the police dogs sinking its teeth into Meanie's flesh. He was treated at the Binghamton General Hospital before being taken to Broome County Jail. As the investigation got deeper, troopers learned that Meanie also allegedly burglarized another home, tampered with the deck of another home, and killed a family's dog.
I also just love tampering with the deck is even mentioned.
He moved
the
grill.
like 6 inches left.
And he's like,
That's you. But he knows somebody with like OCD lives there, so it was like it's kind of like they shot themselves later that day, but they couldn't technically pin that one on him.
He moved the grill like 4 inches, wagged his dick at them, and then just ran.
And then killed their family's dog, probably. I'm going to assume it's the same family, even though they didn't say
They did not clarify.
It sounded like it was a different family's dog, which tells me he went on a batshit. This sounds like the kind of spree I go on playing Red Dead Redemption 2 right now.
Yeah.
Because this is the kind of thing that I will do. I will just go shoot somebody's dog, fucking shoot somebody, drag them behind a horse, jump into a wagon, steal it, fucking law will be after me, shoot 2 of them, pop. Like, this literally sounds like something Florida man just decided.
Technically,
it sounds like he started in Florida.
might be a Florida man.
Well, because, I mean, it sounded like
Florida man comes to New York. The true tale of Meanie.
It was reported stolen in Sarasota, Florida. Not a Sarasota, Florida car that just happened to be reported stolen. It was stolen in Sarasota.
So,
maybe that means he could have like purchased it from somebody, but the fact that he just
running around
naked
and killing
and
chickens
crashed
also.
it, like, I'm saying this guy stole it, was like, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge.
How-
New York looks nice this time of year, and just fucking booked it up the coast and just fucking went.
Theorize with me. How long does it take to get from Florida, where he stole the car, to Broome County? I would love to say a day or 2 straight driving.
Got to be at least that. Yeah, probably
2
probably
days
a couple days. Yeah, because I know you can get probably about halfway there.
No
if you go
sleep.
Straight. Oh yeah, because we're assuming he's on meth or bath salts or.
They never
crocodile.
said when he got naked either. He could be driving from Florida to New York naked in that car.
Yeah, well, I'm here. Well, you continue to go along with any.
My new content is
I'm gonna look up the actual.
I want a movie of this, number one. And I don't mean from the moment he crashes the car to the point of arrest. I'm thinking maybe it starts when he crashes the car and ends at the arrest, but you intercut it with flashbacks of his grabbing the car and hitting the New York Broome County border.
Yep.
Kind of intercut, go back and forth, almost like a Pulp Fiction, but not totally out of order.
This is Trump the sequel. This is. Oh, you know what could happen?
Like, you find out why he's naked because, like, the first time you see him naked, then it cuts back to him taking his clothes off. Like, it always cuts.
I have an amazing idea. Make this the flip side of the trunk movie. So the trunk movie is what the person in a trunk hears going up the interstate. So in other words, we don't even find out that then the follow-up is this movie where the guy's going up the.
This is just a straight sequel.
Yeah. But what you're doing is actually seeing everything that happens in between. So this is actually a sequel to the movie we created last time. Also, by the way, it doesn't take as long. It's only 1,254 miles, 18 hours and 40 minutes if you just drive straight down through on I-95. Literally, one interstate takes you all the way there.
Really?
From Broome County. Yeah, Broome County is actually in, well, I guess it's northern. It's not northern New York, but north of New York City. So
you cast, like, I don't know, like Skeet Ulrich or somebody. So it's just somebody as the naked chicken dog killer. But you have him in the
naked chicken dog killer.
But you have him in the trunk movie at the beginning when he grabs the guy.
Yeah.
So you see him once in that movie.
Once in that, yep.
And then he reappears in the next one. And maybe when the cops find the abandoned Audi, they pull him out of the trunk, and that's a pullback to the end of the trunk movie where the cops also
that was the end of the
pull him
trunk
out.
movie, but that's like the middle of this movie.
Not the middle, maybe 10 minutes in.
Yeah, but it's got to be somewhere.
Like, you have the Audi, like, going up the highway.
Yeah, well, because you gotta have
titles,
because you want to like
music.
a decent, because it sounds like this movie's more like a full length. So whereas the trunk movie's gonna be a short. So like,
they could both be shorts of different length.
Remember in the trunk movie, we have to see all of that happen on the flip side in this one. So yeah, probably 15-20 minutes in, and then boom.
This is the beginning of a trilogy. Well, Trunk is the beginning of a trilogy. 30-minute shorts.
How about the Trunk trilogy?
You combine them all, you have an hour-and-a-half long movie.
And it's almost like 4 rooms. Remember with
it's 3 tales.
Yeah,
but they're all connected.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're like where they're three separate tales, but they have that thread running through them. Again, 4-room style, where there's like just what the bellhop was it? That was the connection between them.
Yeah, like the trunk movie ends with the trunk opening and daylight pouring in, and then we have a hard cut, and then like a title like Act 2.
Yeah,
and then you just see an Audi burning up the highway, and you might even hear like a thump or something.
Yeah.
And you can hear whatever music he was hearing.
Yes, but like the
towards
muffled
the
one.
end, like 10 minutes
Again,
back.
people go listen to the last episode if you want to know everything about Trunk the movie.
Yeah, and then he crashes the car, gets out, runs away.
I'm loving it.
And then we don't even we maybe zoom up to the car and the police pulling up to it, and they're hearing their muffled screams, and they open the trunk, and that's kind of our filler.
Yep.
That's our binding material.
Being that we
and then the whole story, we don't need to write this.
No,
it literally plays out exactly how I just said it from this news story.
And I would actually say that my next story, actually, instead of creating brand new content, because it's pretty much just a paragraph, can we just roll this piece into this movie, because this could totally be something this person did as well. Now that we're talking about a fictional thing that we're creating based on this other series of events, if we could tuck in this next story, which is...
You mean part 3, Act 3?
Well, I don't even know if it has to be this. I think it would be part of part 2, because it could just be one other thing that he does on it, because I think it's too similar to what he was doing, but we could essentially have him do this.
It could break up the trunk episode where he just pulls over the car.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe it cuts to him doing this.
Yeah, okay. And this is because this is the true story that we're talking about that we want to roll in. So again, no new content.
This is our next web dropping.
And this one actually took place in Florida. Actually, it could be, I don't know how far away Okaloosa is, but it essentially could be the reason. It could be the reason that he had to flee Florida in the first place. So he steals the Audi, and maybe there was a witness for this.
So this is Act 1
that he tosses in the trunk. So maybe the person in the trunk is actually the person. But I think the part 3 should actually be a prequel. So essentially, you figure this out at the end.
Oh,
essentially,
if they arrest
the
him,
origin.
Like, why did you even drive all the way to our state?
Yeah, and not only that, why did this person end up in the trunk? There's a witness to this crime, which is a Florida thief. It's actually 2 Florida thieves decided to break into an ATM. They took a blowtorch to it, and they, which is not the same as like something where you can actually sometimes. You can cut things with like a blowtorch,
a welding torch,
like an actual welding torch that's hot enough to like actually do cuts like people do for sculpting and obviously like mechanical stuff. A blowtorch will not necessarily do that.
It just heats metal.
So heats metal and
lightly.
What they ended up doing, they tried to cut the hinges off the thing, and because it was just a blowtorch, they ended up just welding the ATM shut. Opposite effect of what they wanted.
Like so much so that other tools wouldn't help.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you could probably now get a real actual like cutter, and it would not actually take care of this. So I feel like this is what happens: is we find out that there was a witness.
Prequel.
There was a witness. They knocked the witness over the head from seeing this. They shut your fucking mouth, toss him in the trunk. And that's why the person's in the trunk to begin with.
And the guy's alone because one guy said, "I'm not going to be part of this," and runs off.
Exactly. Yep. So the very first thing we see in Trunk, which is the first part, is that knocking on the head. So you see a little bit of that ATM stuff where you get knocked in the head and thrown in the trunk, and that's where you see that first guy. Second one is what we just talked about, the last story, where you get the Sarasota up to whatever, and then it's like the confessions of why you end up here in the room, and it does a flashback to him robbing this ATM, maybe some other things in Florida, seeing the witness and realizing he has to not only control the witness, but get the fuck out of Dodge and go across state lines, and he just keeps going. We have a three-part movie right there.
You could even give like a few reasons in Act 3 as to why they would even rob the ATM.
Yes, well, it could be all like at some point you almost start feeling like sorry for the person because they had like this terrible go, they needed money for some reason, and you think that's the way it's going to turn out, but then it turns out they were just lying and they just wanted money for meth, which is what they spent the money on that they took from the person they put in the trunk.
That's how he drove all night,
and then
straight.
For 19 hours straight to Bloom County before he crashed on the interstate because he'd been up for 11 days straight. So yeah, we got the new content for that as well. We have a couple more stories. We'll probably have to flesh these out or find some new stuff. We're actually on making very punctual time on this one today.
All right, let's open up the next one. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared.
I would say the last story is actually almost rolled into this one, sort of in that it's related. This one is just creepy.
Yeah, well,
so is the next one, honestly.
Yeah, whenever I see stories like this, I always like to think on the bright side, like maybe this technology can be used for good.
Yeah.
But a programmer, Yiquin Fu, A research associate at Yale University tweeted a thread about a Chinese programmer who had claimed he had built an algorithm that had identified 100,000 adult actresses by cross-referencing footage from porn videos of them with social media profile pictures. And using this tool, he was able to, well, basically out 100,000 porn stars from their pseudonyms.
Yes, because essentially what they were trying to do is find out, because it's not like they just identified 100,000 adult actresses. Like, apparently Pornhub uses facial recognition technology, which I think there was
but that works within the realm of pseudonyms.
And the thing is, they use facial recognition technology as like a recommendation engine to recognize other, like, in other words, oh, I like this, like, who is this porn star, and they will help tag the video with that porn star. Yeah. That porn star probably wants the credit because that's their fucking video.
Yeah, but they also don't want their real name known and what school they're going to or whatever.
So this is actually not like that, where you're just trying to identify 100,000 adult actresses. What you were saying is they're essentially trying to link them to their real life names.
And this person
usually said out them, which is ridiculous, and I've got so many bad thoughts about like these kind of people who do this shit.
The person who did this, their hope was to help others, like other men, I guess women too would work in this, be able to check whether their partners had ever acted in pornographic films.
Yes.
So you could put in...
It's definitely a lot of...
Yeah, you could look for your wife or your girlfriend and be like, have they ever been in porn? And this thing would tell you if they ever acted, even under a fake name.
And here's the thing about that is most of there was a lot of positive feedback apparently from the Twitter feed, but the good thing is the most actually I think it was Reddit. What the most positive commented on. I mean, there was comments, but the most positive, either upvoted or liked, depending on which platform it was on, comment had to do with the person, like somebody being like, "So, are you gonna create a database of men too? Because why if it's really about adding people?"
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. I didn't actually know that. That's why earlier I was like,
all actresses, because this is somebody who was first of all. One of the things I am pissed about this kind of thing is, first of all, that we live in a society where there's even such a thing as outing people for like choosing something in the sex trade or even like nude trade, like
God
strippers or something, as a profession.
I'm an atheist, and God bless them.
Yes, exactly. I very rarely use God bless, and I will say God bless them for their service, because and honestly, if we could take the stigma off of that stuff a lot more, you could get more women actually, instead of being like shamingly running from it, could actually embrace the industries and actually become part of the industry itself. Like very few like porn stars do and stuff, but like there could be like you get more women into the industry. We've talked about this before. You could actually make it like safer and more beneficial to the women, and maybe take the stigma off. The problem is like women and men alike stigmatize this. So like women are like vicious against people in the I mean, again, that sounds like a stereotype, but in other words, a lot of the biggest critics of sex workers, quote unquote, are other women who will be like, oh, it's okay to. It's essentially like, let's protect all women, but then the second you say like this woman's in the sex trade, aside from the forced sex trade of sex trafficking and stuff, if some woman just wants to be in pornography, they're like they'll help shame them just along with everybody else. They'll absolutely it's like the public shaming of people in porn is ridiculous.
You
should be able to get any job you want and be looked at like anybody else.
I was laughing a moment ago, not about what you were saying, but because it crossed my mind after we said that they were heroes, that the D-Day celebration just happened. I was going to go say, where's their D-Day celebration? It's such a raunchy dad joke.
It is, but it's like the worst. That's like the worst dad in the world joke.
Yeah,
where you have a mug that says "World's Worst Dad" on it.
You say that's to your
the
kid.
Joke you tell.
The mug's full of liquor.
Yeah, where's her D-Day?
Yeah, I thought that in my head and just put my head down and kind of laughed to myself.
I'm glad you put it out there, because I'm laughing with you, Scott. I appreciate that kind of joke, because we've talked about on the show before our disdain for hypocrites especially like on the male and female side of things, but on the male side, just knowing so many guys who will like slut shame women, but the second they go out to the bars, like they can't wait to like hopefully hook up with a one night stand kind of thing, because they're just like, oh man, wouldn't it be great? Yet then in their head, they're slut shaming anybody who would do that. I'm like, what, do you think your fucking dick is magic or made of chocolate? Like, it's not special. Like, maybe some other people want to go, like, I don't know, the double standard, ridiculous bullshit around this stuff. Like, people in pornography, strippers, escorts, things along those lines, they should be able to, like, do their job safely and also not have this ridiculous fucking stigma associated with it. And they did talk to this person about he was interviewed about the legality of all of this, and he said, well, I think I'm protected because essentially his legal thing was this is not public. Like, I'm not allowing people to query against it. He's like, I created the algorithm so I could check against it, but he's like, I am not making this public because there would probably be some legal ramifications to this kind of thing because it's a privacy issue. You're like, that's for Facebook to allow, not for an individual to put out there. But the way it would just be used so just poisonously. Poisonously? Fuck it, yeah.
That works for me.
Registrate poisonously. They're words now. Anyway, so yeah, one of the things that they were saying, like, this kind of software though could be used for, although it's not its intent, would be to actually help also identify sex trafficking victims as well.
That would be the altruistic use of it.
In other words,
good use.
In other words, if this person really isn't as shitty as a person as they sound, which it sounds like they are, especially since they immediately went to women and didn't even put men in the fucking database.
Well, you can be like, my daughter got kidnapped last year. Is she in sex trade?
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, if
although sex trade people don't usually end up on Pornhub.
No, they don't end up on Pornhub. That's
they
what I mean.
They go to creepier websites that I don't know if that thing searches.
No, it wouldn't search like the dark web, but the people who have a whole what they're saying is the technology itself could be used by the FBI, who does unfortunately have probably the largest. They definitely have the largest child pornography database of all time because they use that to help identify victims.
No, Snapchat does.
Well, they have all Snapchat though. FBI owns all the Snapchat stuff.
They do.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
I mean, they scrape
That's
everything.
creepy, dude. No. That's creepy.
No, there's no way
Need more
everything.
Of those snaps.
There's no way everything on Snapchat hasn't ended up in the NSA's hands,
Probably,
which then gets shared with the FBI in a
and there's not a lot they can do about
I'm not a
it. Like,
conspiracy
what are they?
theorist, but of course they're using that. So if they actually had a facial recognition technology like this, they actually wanted to utilize across that. They could say they showed up in this video. They could target those videos and actually. Although I would say if they have those videos anyway, not Snapchat, because that's usually just people sharing their own shit. But like these dark web like fucking creepy videos, they should hopefully be trying to apply like as much to those as possible. The problem is the criminals often are ahead of the law in these cases. But
well, I'd like to think that actually, I think that is the new content. Is literally the FBI using this creepy tool for good to bring some girls home to their parents.
Yes, in other words, for the very first time in Lost at Home history, we're using our extra content for good, not just for fun. So yes, this person is definitely a creep, and the fact that they immediately applied it to just actresses and didn't even think that maybe they can pop a dude's dick in there every once in a while, then shows me that they've got some there's some dark misogyny behind this anyway, to the point of slut shaming, and again, hypocrisy. Fuck this person, but I hope the FBI steals your goddamn your shit and you never make $1 on it, but they use it for good, and then criminals will steal it and use it for bad later, just like they did with all the hacking shit in Maryland. Boom.
Now, I found a very adjacent story to this. Yes. It's not even a story. Well, I found a website because of similar searches while doing research on that.
I will say at the bottom of this story, they mentioned that there was, they didn't mention this specific website on there, but they did mention the facial recognition technology being used for bad and nefarious purposes or creepy purposes. Like
so, I found a creepy and fun website. It depends on how you use it.
It is, exactly. This is definitely in the application, especially since if you use it, quote unquote, the way it might need to be used, where you put a face in and try to find.
Well, let's explain what it is.
Exactly. Let's not bury the lead here.
The website is pornstarbyface.com.
Now, just give 1 second. Think about what you think that means, and ding, 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 you're right. It's exactly what you think.
It is the first porn star face recognizing search engine based on deep neural networks, and
so deep.
The clear purpose of this website,
like deep neural network.
Here, let me let them explain how it works. Step 1: upload a photo of an actress or a girl you know.
Wink emoji. Not even wink emoji, like wink lazy emoji.
Step 2: the system detects the face.
In other words, so let me go back to step 1.
Step 3: enjoy the results.
Okay, first of all, step 3 just sounds creepy, no matter how even. But okay, step 1: if they just ended it, they're clearly like tipping their hand, like here they're telegraphing what it's really supposed to be used for. The way they're like, if they just ended at the beginning, they could probably cover their ass more and be like, hey, you like, because I've heard of people go to
Search
Pornhub.
for porn stars,
Yeah,
essentially.
Exactly. Like I've heard of people who've gone to Pornhub. I don't know what it's about. I hear it's a good thing or whatever, but I've never been there. I've had people are like, "Who's this porn star? Who's this porn star?"
Yeah.
Like all the way in the comments. You could actually upload a video and figure out who that porn star is. Or in this case,
This
they're
is
doing
like
the wiki thing.
I think the waitress at my favorite restaurant's hot. I'm gonna get her to take a picture of me, crop me out, and then I'm gonna jerk off to girls that look just like her.
Just Facebook stalker, Instagram stalker enough to where she accepts your friend request, find a picture, boom, then you got it. Or they're
No. This isn't that deep. Have you tried it?
I have not tried it. No.
No. I put Paula Deen in a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Just to give you an example.
No, it's based on facial recognition. It doesn't do what the other thing does, where it's actual databases, where it's comparing the.
By the
metrics.
way, that is the Paula Deen picture I picked.
Yes.
I
have not tried it. I have not tried it yet. If I did, it would be something like that. Yes.
Then it gives you.
I thought about putting my face in to see what female porn star I looked like.
Then it gives you just porn stars with a percentage of how close the face match was. And then 3 links below where you can go watch videos of those porn stars.
And I think that, because what they did
is usually Pornhub, RedTube, it's like the big ones.
They had like multiple terabytes probably of
that's
like
totally
video.
Paula Deen, right?
Yeah. See, well that's the thing I'm saying is all it does is like as opposed to the last thing we had, which is actually compares real pictures against real pictures and has like a facial recognition software. This isn't facial recognition.
Okay, that's closer.
This is the second one down. Who is that?
I don't know, but
Alexis Golden.
Yeah, they're trying to say Alexis Golden looks like Paula Deen.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, because
not bad.
because all it's doing is it's probably just saying, okay, here are the cheekbones, here are the eyes, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's trying.
I am going to try it on my own face and let you know which female porn star I look like, because I'm pretty sure it only has females in it.
Do that.
And it's just going to come up with Milton.
Oh, you can't do it right now, can you?
It's just going to come up with Milton from Office Space.
Wait, I'm actually doing this on my phone. You're on a laptop.
I am. I can probably find one of my own pictures on like Facebook or something.
Here, I'll do it for myself too, real quick, because I'm sure I have a selfie of myself on my phone, and it won't be hard to find.
Here's what we're going to do. Scott and I are going to do this real quick, and then we're going to come back to you with the results. All right, so unfortunately, we didn't get any results. Apparently, they don't have a good enough database for recognize older men and figure out what kind of women they would look for. I would say what we could do at some point is, like those Snapchat. I'm not on Snapchat or anything, but like they have like those apps even that like turn you into like so you look more like a woman.
Oh,
what would you look like as a woman?
The current one that's hot, the woman app.
Yes, exactly. So I like at some point I could actually check that, but I did try my celebrity lookalike, and I got no more than 32% with let's see, most people I don't know. Guillermo del Toro, I'm on there at 31%, and Wayne Knight, who plays Newman on Seinfeld,
okay, that one's weird, is at 31%. But then they've got like some handsome men just like right down there as well. So I'm gonna say this: Porn Star by Face, and I went to starbyface.com, is actually not very good. So as far as its connection. Now, that being said, maybe if we put somebody else in, but I'm not going to try this on people like actual females. Like to me, it just seems like not quite right. I just did celebrity look.
Celebrity look like I feel fine. I could do with anybody. That's like a little less like assuming, because it's like I'm not just gonna fucking go jerk off to them. Yeah, so I did celebrity look like. That's where I looked like Newman from, but also Jim Perrick, who was in some things, and he's like handsome. So I don't know. I'm in between a handsome man and one of the most ugly, obese men in all of TV history, who is one of the most obnoxious people on the planet. Sorry, Wayne Knight. I'm sure you're a great person. And actually, you're not that ugly, come to think of it. You're just, you're obese. Anyway.
Give me 1 second. I'm doing mine. I just had to take my hat off because I realized the hat's falling to throw me. I'll probably be a baseball player.
They just cropped my my hair and everything out anyway. They just paid attention to my face.
Yeah, mine's just spinning.
All right. Well, here, let's.
You look like no one.
Yeah, you are perfectly unique. Well, you've got David Tennant before.
I've been told I look like David Tennant.
Yes,
I don't.
Which is actually a fine thing if you do. So.
I don't think I do.
Yeah, it's fine if you do, because he's a fine man. He's a fine man. Good omens. Anyway, so that's.
Oh wait! I got results.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say go into the next story, but let's hear your results. We still have plenty of time for the next story.
Ewan McGregor
Yeah, so
29%.
Fuck you. You're way better. I've got Guillermo del Toro and the fat guy from Seinfeld.
I also got Sean Hayes at 32%.
But what I need to do is I need to upload like my target weight, which was me like 5 years ago, and see what I come out as. Because honestly, people used to always say Michael J. Fox.
I got John Barenthal. I've got a John Barenthal nose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good for you. So you can go to Star by Face for people who want to try this out. That's not nearly as creepy as pornstarbyface.com.
I got Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Wait, now it's like a Ted Levine. Do you know who he is?
No.
Just take a look. Totally out of scope with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, no, that's what happened with mine. I had like Guillermo del Toro, Wayne Knight, and then some like really handsome actor. I'm like, okay, this is a shit algorithm. So I'm gonna go on the record.
Ted Levine looks like poor man's coach.
I'm gonna go on the record and say that this is just bad, or it just doesn't work. I mean, granted, I haven't tried it with anybody who might look a lot like, but these are again like 31%, 32%. They're just making.
I'm gonna go with an Ewan McGregor, John Barenthal kind of
cross.
cross.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ewan McGregor.
I don't know why you're complaining. Mine was fine.
Fuck it. I know he wasn't part of it, but I'm gonna go ahead with Ryan Reynolds with a dash of Ryan Gosling in it. The Ryans. Jeremiah. I believe somebody saw a picture of me this weekend and said, "What's Milton from Office Space doing there?" Because I hadn't I haven't shaved or anything like that.
No.
I'm overweight compared to how I used to be. I'll get back to where I need to be.
You can pull up. You can still pull up bubbles with the glasses, though.
Well, bubbles. I get bubbles all the time. People give me bubbles all the time. I shave. Give me bubbles.
People give me bubbles all the time.
People give me bubbles all the time. Blowing bubbles. That's the thing, is that then I can hit on ladies. They're like, "Oh yeah, you like blowing bubbles?" And then I got me too'd at your party multiple times.
You know what? Women also like blowing out their cervixes with a vacuum.
Okay.
Moving on to the next story.
This has nothing to do with that story. This is the new story. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah. Doctors are urging women after 2 reported hospital intakes based on, using vacuums to remove their periods.
Essentially,
not
to
use
speed up
vacuums to remove their periods.
Also, things you should never have to tell a human being ever. Now, here's the thing that I actually I'm upset about on Pretty52.com. They're not so great journalists. Granted, they're not journalists. It's Pretty52.com.
They did a deep dive into the history of abortion machines that also did the same thing,
which is actually pretty cool. We're gonna get to, but I just don't like this one word. A gynecologist.
Yeah, I don't like that word either, Jared. It's hard to say.
Because it doesn't exist. A gynecologist has warned against a shocking trend. Here's the thing. Don't call it a fucking trend. Two people did it. And they probably know each other. Almost guaranteed. 19 years old, 23 years old. My guess is they knew each other or heard somebody doing it. It's not a trend. Maybe now. Here's the thing: you see more than one of them, and you don't know their connection. Maybe you do warn against it, and she did. It was a nurse who warned against this on Twitter or something like that. Social media.
Yeah. They used a vacuum to suck out the blood to end their period earlier, which resulted in a blood flow lossage from their body 1,000 times greater than what the period would do within moments.
Because the nurse specifically said your period has a steady flow of its own that, for all intents and purposes, your body can tolerate. A vacuum increases that flow over 1,000 times, which, surprise, she didn't say surprise, your body can't tolerate, therefore sending you into shock.
Yeah, I'm no gynecologist, but I mean, if a woman...
Mostly because they don't exist, but I am a gynecologist.
But let's just put this into perspective. If a woman has her period and loses a pint of blood a day, that takes out 1,000
Okay, first of all, I'm assuming that is off. But I
don't. The vacuum would take out 1,000 pints.
It just immediately dries them out. And they turn into like a fucking husk from a horror movie.
Yes.
Oh, geez, this is bad.
My math may be off.
Yeah, I think so. My guess is definitely not. Okay, so
when I hear the words heavy flow, all I can think of is like a pint of blood, like not quite the elevator from The Shining,
which is what they take from you when they.
And you're fine when that happens.
When you sit down,
they give you a cookie. No one gives a woman a cookie.
And then you're not allowed to give again for 6 weeks. Once a day, she's lost all her blood. By the way, they say on average, most women lose less than 16 teaspoons, about 80 milliliters of blood during their period. The average being
80 milliliters, the European pint.
I see you lost a European pint of blood, which is, of course, 16 teaspoons of blood. Wait, isn't that just also you're using another empirical?
Yeah, right.
Yes. I mean, 80 milliliters. Yeah, the old European pint. which is also the American pint because actually not European, the British pint. They use the empirical system. Somebody on Fox News, I think it was Tucker Carlson, was going off about the metric system being horrible the other day because he's stupid. Anyway,
I was just gonna agree with you heartily.
The average being about 6 to 8 teaspoons. I'm sure even women might not know this because I'm guessing women aren't just like
measuring it.
Well, yeah,
Squeeze out those tampons, ladies. We need an exact count.
Just ringing them out. I see you got a little more over there, Sheila. Come on now.
This has nothing to do with the patriarchy. For science.
Yeah, for science. Let's give it to me, and I'm gonna. Ignore that tampon vending machine. That's different. This is the Asian market now. That's a stereotype, but they do have like used.
They do have gross vending machines.
But that being said, gross. Like, what do we have? We sell Mountain Dew in a vending machine. How is that any
not
grosser?
Used girls' panties?
Honestly, I will drink.
Used girls'
I will drink
panties
a big
is not
slam,
a liquid.
I will drink a big slam of liquefied used girls' panties
over
Mountain Dew any day, and I guarantee you it's going to be safer.
Or you just use the used girls' panties as let's
call them underwear. By the way, panties is just a creepy term.
It kind of is.
I hate
but
saying
that's
the
what
word panties.
That is a word that exists.
It is, but only creepy dudes use that word. Otherwise, they're just fucking underwear. I think most women just call their underwear. The only people who say panties are pedophiles.
Thanks, dude. After I said it like 5 times in a row.
Well, no, because the vending machines are called used panty vending machines.
I was referring to that specifically.
No, you were scientifically referring to it. I'm going to say that panty vending machines dispense used underwear because I just don't. The used part isn't even the creepy part. The word panties is the creepy part for me.
I like your panties.
There's a connotation that's a word used for a younger person's undergarment.
Yes, and even then, I just would never refer to a younger person's undergarment like, "Hey, what kind of panties your daughter use?"
We're both like 40. Of course, we wouldn't refer to a younger person's undergarment.
Well, I mean, you think so? At least you're a dad. At some point, maybe you could. I'd be like, I gotta go, but you're never gonna say, I gotta go buy my daughter more panties. You're gonna say, I gotta go buy my daughter more underwear.
And I would never tell her to pick her panties up off the floor.
Yeah, because the only people who say that are fucking pedophiles, and they'll never say,
You're right.
Pick them up off the floor and throw them in the trash. You'll never need those again. We're on a really dark tangent now.
You're absolutely right. I never thought about that. I've never used those words to describe my daughter's underwear.
Or just anybody, but when you'd have to describe like a used panty machine, which is literally, that's what it's called. That's how creepy they are. They even have the bad name in there. Granted, it's probably our translation of it.
Is there a better word than underwear that isn't panties that also could sound sexy? So like you look at like your wife or girlfriend and be like, wow, that's a really hot...
there's other things.
really hot underwear you have on.
Sometimes women wear like thongs, and that's like proper to say that because that's a thing.
It's not 97 anymore, so...
Well, no, like if women wear thongs, you could say thongs, G-strings, stuff like that. You could actually call them what they are. But like, I like your panties. I'm sorry, like, if you say that, she immediately turns 13.
But I was going to say, like, what else? There's no good word for it.
And here's the thing is, that's creepy as far as I'm concerned. I know
you could say, like, I like your lingerie, but that almost means there's more than one piece, and what if they're only wearing that piece?
Yeah, it's just her underwear, but underwear does sound like...
Nice underwear.
Bros. Yeah.
Hot bloomers.
Yeah, you like my sexy... But the thing is, though, if a woman says it, that's fine. I actually don't... It's not creepy like, you like my panties. I'd be like, you're a pedophile. Get out of here.
To the woman?
Yeah. Like, wait, what? I want to fuck you and I'm sexy. What are you talking about? Shut up, pedophile. Get out of here. I can see through you. I see you a mile away.
I can see through you like I can see through your not panties.
Underwear. Adult underwear.
This PSA brought to you by Fruit of the Loom and everyone against what's that group? NAFTA? No.
Free trade agreement. Actually, I like that as our new content. Is that one coalition? For some reason, one person had a beef against both of them. Only had enough money to create one coalition. They're like
Fruit of the Loom and NAFTA.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Oh my god!
I think I was trying to think of the Man Boy Association thing.
Oh yeah, NAMBLA.
NAMBLA.
Yeah, North American band Man Boy, NAMBLA, Man Boy Love Association.
Fingers crossed for the day where Trump confuses those two in a speech.
Oh god, yeah. I wanna. Oh well, but the problem is he's always trying to like get out of NAFTA. So he's just like, we have to get away from NAMBLA, and then people are gonna be like, yay! Except for his Alabama voters, gonna be like, wait a minute, NAMBLA's. That's because Roy Moore is trying to get Roy Moore is trying to get back into the
NAMBLA?
the race now. I think
The race war?
The race.
I'm just thinking of words that make sense in context with Roy Moore.
Yeah, literally all of that. Yes.
If you say a factual thing, it won't sound as good as what I just said.
Yeah, he's so apparently he was trying to get back into politics because he was essentially he barely lost, in Alabama.
Just a rambling, walking down this road.
Hold on. I now have to write rambling, into empty promises.
I'm just a good old boy from Alabama. My name's Roy Moore. What do you want? Gonna get more. It's a rambling afternoon. Oh, look at that boy wearing panties in the sun.
Oh, I thought you were the pantaloons.
Who gave panties to that guy's son?
Panties. Pantaloon with Namblin, rambling with pantaloons, yeah. Roy Moore, 2020.
Namblin, approved.
Namblin approved. A rambling, man. I'm just a rambling, man. I run fast as I can for those tight little boys in the tight little jeans with the tight little butts. I could cover it up with my jism. Actually,
jeans and seams work well together if you're going to talk
true.
about their tight little butts.
I will say...
on that note, we should probably save this magic for another episode.
Exactly.
And
I will say, for everybody, I will add this to empty promises. Other than that, get lost.
Get lost.